It's the evolution of KTSU 90.9, the all-new vibe, Houston's culture, women crushing it Wednesday. Michele McKnight here, and always nice to have another dope, phenomenal lady that is joining me here on the show. And tonight's guest was actually nominated by one of our own here at KTSU, Miss Jennifer Jackson, who is one of the account executives. And she is going to help us tap into our inner energy. She actually has a supply store that is going to help you do that as well. The owner of Our Little Red One Shop, Miss Saron Adams. Welcome to the show.
Many blessings. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's nice to have good, positive energy all around and somebody that is going to help you to be able to manifest that positive energy on a regular basis, because all the time demons just right and left are just trying to just penetrate the system.
Well, I absolutely bring the vibe at all times.
So tell me, metaphysical supply store, what does that mean exactly?
So if you are on a spiritual journey, say you need some sage to clear out negative energies, say you need some lavender to take you a nice spiritual bath, or even make you a nice lavender tea to relax. We have crystals. If you're into crystal healing, we carry crystals of all kinds. I mean, just whatever you need. We have tarot readings. We have astrology readings. We got anything that would help get your spirit to the next level.
And so what is it that kind of brought you full circle into that? Are you a person that once upon a time you struggled with anxiety? You were looking, just to find some inner peace? Or what kind of manifested you coming into this sort of business?
Well, coming from a church home. I was reared by my grandmother. Young people don't know what reared is. I was raised by my grandmother. And we went to church every day. It wasn't only on Sunday. We went to church every day. So coming from a family and a church like a church family like that, and when you would ask questions in church and nobody could make sense of it, and people would just say, just believe it. Just believe it. As a little girl, I would get messages and stuff like that, and my grandmother would say, don't say that. Don't say that in front of other people. Don't. And I was like, oh, I must be something different, something special, that it would make other people afraid if I would say this out loud. Mm-hmm. So I always said that I was a grown little person. I came here a grown person. So although all of the church stuff that was going on, it was one thing that stuck out in church when I was a little girl one day. And I went to an old church, y'all. My church was old. Everybody was old. We couldn't even rock in the choir. So we had a young pastor that came by. Mm-hmm. And in his preaching, he kept saying, the great I am. In the Bible, it said, the great I am. And I was like, ding. So I looked down like I was excited because I got it. I understood at that point. This is about me being the great I am. Mm-hmm. It didn't say the great he is, she is, it is. It didn't say that. It said the great I am. So from that point, I understood that I was the great I am. Mm-hmm. So I have to stay at the grandmama's house until I get old enough. So Astroworld took people at 15 years old. You can start working at Astroworld at 15 years old. I was still in high school. Shout out to Rasha. Anyway, at 15, I was working there, saved up my money, got me a little efficiency over off of Stella Link, had me a little car, and this God-fearing woman who went to church every day, as I was walking out after I told her my plan, started spewing her plan on me. Mm-hmm. You're going to be pregnant. You're not going to finish school. You're not going to. And as she was throwing them, I was deflecting. I was like, oh, that ain't even my plan. So that's not what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. And that's not what I did. Mm-hmm. I completed school, didn't have a baby before, had a great job, put myself through college, had my baby at 21, bought my first house, bought it at 23. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and kept moving from then. So I already knew how to move like a master.
And so while she may not have had the gift of sight, I am a firm believer that some people do, and that is something that I want to tap in here with you. So, of course, we'll talk about that next year. Make sure to keep those radios locked in here to the all-new vibe. It's the evolution of KTSU 90.9. It's the all-new vibe, the evolution of KTSU 90.9, Houston's culture. Michele McKnight here, and Women Crushing It Wednesday. We have that here on the show every single week. We always are bringing some phenomenal ladies onto the show to talk about the different works that it is that they are doing to not only benefit themselves, but to also be a blessing to someone else. So if there's ever someone that you would like to nominate to be a guest on the show, you can do so up at vibehouston.com. And we have Miss Saron Adams here, who is someone who is going to help you get in touch with the gift of sight, depending on what that sight may be, help you to find some inner peace. She is the owner of Our Little Red One Shop. And one thing we were talking about before we pressed pause was the gift of sight, and that some people do have an ability to be able to communicate or be able, you know, to see people that were once here, and you attest that to energy never dying off. And is that something that I know you mentioned as a child, there were certain things that you would see and people in your family told you, well, don't make mention of that because people don't think you're crazy.
Right.
You know, and that's not something that we believe in.
Right.
And so, you know, when did you really completely understand what you had been given a gift and an ability to do?
I mean, when they were telling me to try to shut it down, and I wasn't willing to shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
Very strong-spirited little girl I was. Like I said, I had been here before. I think I've been here before for sure. I know I've been here before. But I wasn't going to give into their fears.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know why they were afraid, but I never had ugly energy come to me.
Mm-hmm.
The tall, dark energy that's in the corner doesn't always mean that it's a bad energy.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's something bad, you could feel it.
Mm-hmm.
You would be able to feel it, period. So one thing with coming out with now having the store and babies coming to me, like I would call, at first we would make a joke and say we were the black sheep of the families, because people wouldn't understand us and we would move differently. Like you would tell us to do something, we're like, that ain't what my spirit telling me to do. I'm gonna move this way. So we're considered the black sheep of the family. Like, so when they would come to see me, it would almost be like a relief. Like, wow, I finally get to talk to someone who understands what I've been going through. Because I couldn't talk to my mom, I couldn't talk to my grandmother if they weren't willing to pass down what they knew. Because trust me, grandma and them knew. If you ever woke up early in the morning and grandma was throwing that dishwater out the side of the door a certain way, or sweeping that front porch with some water, trust me, it was some stuff going on right in your face that they just didn't tell you that it was. So for me, it's been a blessing to help so many babies that's been just waiting to talk to somebody, because society actually has them feeling like they're going crazy because they're hearing or they're seeing things. No, they're gifted. And I try my best to nourish all those gifts coming through.
And one thing I also want to talk to you about is chakras, because I do not understand chakras, but I always hear people referencing, whether it's in a skit that's on Instagram or, you know, somebody posting some sort of testimony of some sort about that. So we'll tap into that next year. So make sure to keep those radios locked into the all-new vibe. It's the evolution of KTSU 90.9. Michele McKnight here on the all-new vibe. It's the evolution of KTSU 90.9, and we are talking chakras. I am Miss Saron Adams, who is the owner of Our Little Red One Shop here. We have been talking about tapping into our energy, manifesting greatness, and also that you may not be going crazy if you are hearing or you're seeing certain things that people may not consider to be the norm. But when it comes to chakras, because I hear a lot of talk about that all the time, what is a chakra exactly?
Chakras are points in your body that's going up your spine, that tap in like on your solar plexus, your root chakra, your solar plexus, your heart, and it goes up to your crown. So the main 7 that people focus on are the ones that come up the spine. Okay. But you actually have chakras all over your body. And in the medical terms, that there are the synapses points of your nerve endings.
Okay.
But with that being said, if you ever looked at the medical symbol, it has the two snakes that start at the bottom and wind and go to the top. That's what your chakras are. So when we're talking about the root chakra, that's your base. Women, we create with our womb. We create there at the bottom. So that's the root chakra. When you move up to your solar plexus, that's dealing with more of your stomach, balancing your body from your stomach. Then you go to the heart. The heart chakra. Wait a minute, I'm missing a chakra. The sacral. I'm sorry. The sacral. You're dealing with energy. So the main thing is that what we're trying to do is make sure that the root chakra is cleared all the way up to get to your crown chakra, which is your third eye, which is your pineal gland. Our pineal gland is what, soon as we come out, they find ways to calcify it. They give us fluoride. They give us preservatives in our foods that calcifies that, because that's the thing that makes us be in a knowing, that discerning spirit, that intuition that comes through. So when I say when those are blocked, you can't manifest the things that you want. A lot of times, the first time our first heartbreak, whether it's mommy had to give us a spanking or we felt like we were wronged by dad or whatever, we begin to take those emotions and we push them down. Because as children, we're not given the tools on how to process it. We get in trouble, somebody blast us out or spank us or tell us we can't speak. They take our voice right there. That's the throat chakra. So then what do? We begin to start suppressing all that energy, pushing it right on down to either your sacral
and
or
then
to
that
your,
causes anxiety.
it causes
and then,
all kind of stuff. So when you're trying to manifest from a positive place, you got all that pain down there that you haven't healed. So the traumas that we're talking about now in the communities, whether it was adult trauma from adults traumatizing us as children, whether it's trauma from society, watching TV, radio, trauma just from the community, we haven't been given the tools to heal. One thing that makes it better, and I don't believe in generational curses, our DNA, though, can be healed through us to heal the next. Because a lot of times what I ask, I call them my babies and some be grown people, but sometime when our parents haven't been taught a certain way, they pass that on to us. And a lot of times I have a lot of more angry at mom than they are at dad. And dad could be absent, whatever, but they're angry at mom. They're busting their butt to take care of them. And they're doing it the best way that they can, not knowing what the mom trauma is, living in a house where stepdad or papa or uncle raped them. And now, because kids were supposed to be quiet, taking their throat chakra. And now we're passing that same trauma.
And so in any of these instances where these chakras need to be unblocked, that is something that they can come to our Little Red One Shop to be able to do that, and you can take them through the process. So can you provide the address and the contact information for those people who would like to take you up on that offer?
We are at 4213 Emancipation Avenue, right around the corner. Houston, Texas, zip code 77004. If you need to call us, 832-844-1534. We have an Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We are on all the platforms. So reach out to us, DM us, and let us help you out.
And thank you so much for coming on the show and giving us some information about chakras and the fact that you may think you're going crazy, but that may not in actuality be the case. But we appreciate you so much, and I know that there's so much more that you want to share. So again, if anybody wants to get in touch, our Little Red One Shop, Saron Adams, who is the owner for that, make sure that you get in touch with her, and we'll have all of her contact information, of course, up on our Instagram at The Vibe Houston.